in our Web Development Level 1 textbook. It's going to be Revolution Travel, Real World Layout. We're starting a new website project that has multiple pages involved with it with this group of lessons. The publisher's given us many web pages in a small website to style with CSS. They've also left one page blank that we're going to build from the ground up. So let's look and see what they've given us. Go to Chrome. And we're going to be in our downloads from the publisher. And let's start in the Revolution Travel folder. You can see that we have multiple web pages: tips, San Fran, packages, index, contact, and about. Most of these pages have content on them in HTML, but it has not been styled. We have one page that we'll work on, the San Fran, that is blank. Let's look at the index page and see what we start with. So they've given us some basic HTML content. We have a logo, we have our navigation, we have a main hero image on the page, we have some headings, and we have some text. It does scale with the text responsively when we scale the browser window, but the picture does not scale. We can look at some other pages, we can check the tour packages. There's some more content on there. We can check About Us. The main page that we're going to build the project from is the featured location, and that's going to be the sanfran.html page. When we click that, they have left us a lot of work to build. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the content to this page, and we're going to add the CSS to this page. Once we've done that, we're going to share the CSS with this page with all the other pages that we were looking at, so those are styled as well using the same external CSS style sheet. So let's go to our text editor, Sublime Text, and open the sanfran.html page. So the publisher's given us a basic HTML starting template, but they have not given us the HTML5 semantic tags. What we do see is we have a doc type that tells the browser how to interpret this page. We have our opening HTML tag that states that the language the page will be in will be English with the lang equals EN. In the head of the document, we have char set, which is going to give us the special characters library that we'll use for this page. We have a title that says document. We'll want to change that at some point. And then between the body tags, we have nothing. So we'll have to add some content. So let's go ahead and set up the HTML5 semantic sections. Inside the body tag, I'm going to click in. And the first thing we need to add is the header. And add an opening and closing tag while we're here. Remember, the header is the area that the brand identity, the logo, and the top of the page will go in. Next, we're going to put in the nav for the main navigation for the page. Do a closing tag. We're going to put in the main. This is where your main content goes on the page. Put a closing tag. Then put your footer in. This is the end of the page. Now let's go back and fix something in the main. We have to add a small amount of code for older browsers. Modern browsers don't need this, but for older browsers to interpret this properly, we need to put role equals main. So let's save that and look at our page. And nothing should change because we did not add content. We just added the semantic HTML5 sections. Now remember that the header, the nav, the main, and the footer, these are all containers. They're like divs. They're boxes. So we can style these boxes with CSS using the box model to do the layout of the page. So let's do the first thing. Let's add our main logo into the header area. So we're going to go up into the header, and we're going to add an IMG. Let's get this right. IMG src tag to add an image equals, it's going to be in a folder. They've put it in an images folder, so we're going to say go to images folder from this page, give it a /. Now we have to add the name of the actual image to make it show up, and it's going to be revolution-logo.png. logo.png. Don't forget to put your alt tag in. That's another attribute you need to add to this. Alt equals. This is for people with audio browsers that might be sight impaired. And you can just put the alt as Revolution Travel. And close the tag with a bracket. Remember, you don't need a closing tag on this. It's just a one tag piece of HTML. So let's save that. Check our page. Refresh. And there's a logo. We've added that. We've done no layout, so it's going to default to the left side of the page. Now let's add our main content to the page. Let's add some text to the page. The good thing is the publisher has given us all of this in a snippets folder. So what we can do is we can go to our text editor and go File, Open. And inside the Revolution Travel folder, there's a snippets folder. Open up the main-content.html. And you're going to copy everything in here. You're going to start at featured locations at the very top and go all the way down to Revolution Travel with the copyright symbol at the very bottom. So I'll just start at the bottom and select all of this. Go Edit, Copy. Go back over to my San Fran page. And I'm going to go inside the main tags. I'm going to skip the nav for right now. In the main tags, I'm going to edit paste to add this content. You notice it has some p tags in here to break things up a bit. Yep, that's all it has. The only HTML. It has some emphasis. It has some italics. So let's save that and look at it in the browser. Refresh that. You can see that we have different paragraphs of content on our page now. So that was much easier than typing the whole group of content. Now the next thing we want to address is we want to address the nav area of our page. Let's add the main navigation of this page. So they've already given us the text to use for this. We just need to move it from where it is. The text we're going to use for our navigation links is the featured location to the contact at the very top of the content they've given us. So we're just going to move it. We're going to select all of that, do an edit cut, go inside the two nav tags, and I'm going to do an edit paste. Clean that up a little bit. Save that. Nothing should change. We haven't styled, we haven't added any HTML. We've just moved this inside of our semantic tags on our page. So now that we've saved that, that text that we just moved is this right here. It should not change look. We just moved it to a different section. Now let's go ahead and start styling the list. What we're going to do is we're going to use an unordered list to help us build our navigation. So we're going to go into our text editor and we're going to just create an unordered list with each one of these links that we're going to have as a list item. Come down here. Start with your unordered list tag UL. Come down after the last navigation item. Still inside the nav. Here's our closing nav right here. Do your closing tag for the unordered list. Now for each one of these links that we'll build, we need to create a list item around each one. So I'm going to go in LI to open it, and you'll do a closing LI tag after it. You'll do that for each one because we'll put a bullet point around each one of these navigation elements. Clean up my code a little bit, get the space out of my list, and we're going to move these over a little bit just to keep our code looking good. Save that, and let's check it in our browser. Now you can see that we have an unordered list for our navigation. We don't have any links set up yet, so it's not going to be clickable, but we've set this content up ready for adding our ahref tags at a later date. Last thing let's do is let's go set up our footer. We need to move a little bit of content. It's going to be this last line down at the bottom, the copyright Revolution Travel. And we're just going to move that a little bit. We're going to move it out of, we're going to take both the paragraph tags with it. We're going to take it out of the main area, edit, cut, put it inside the footer area, edit, paste, and save that. We're just going to check that it's still there. It's not going to change look or feel. We just moved it to a different location on the page. Now let's do some headings. Let's set up our H1s. We're going to do that on the featured locations, San Francisco, California. So we're going to put this as our H1. Remember, each page should only have one H1 heading. It's the most important thing on the page as far as what the content's about. So we'll go into our text editor. And there's a paragraph tag around it already. We're going to just change the P's to H1s for our main headings. So an opening H1, a closing H1. We're also going to set two H2 headings in there. So we're going to go find things to do. It's about line 29 in my code. So it's things to do. And the same thing with the paragraph tags. We're going to change those to H2s. We go farther down the page because we have another one. We have something called local travel tips. We'll change that to an H2 heading from a paragraph tag. We'll save that. Check it in the browser. All right, so there's our H1 and here are our H2s. So those are working properly. And that's setting up the basic structure of the content for our sanfran.html page.